Kai Thorne had never seen anything like it. Not in the training simulators, not in the schematics he had studied, and certainly not in the wild imagination of a human engineer. Yet here it was, the Galactica Titan, the largest warship in the galaxy, floating in orbit like a glittering city among the stars. It was so large that even from the docking bay, Kai felt his chest tighten. He stepped onto the airlock and felt the hum of energy ripple beneath his boots. The walls were sleek and polished, but they shimmered with holographic displays that stretched endlessly in every direction. Lights blinked across the surfaces in patterns that made no immediate sense. The Galactica Titan was alive in a way, and it knew he was here. Kai froze, not out of fear, though that flutter of nerves was there. No, he froze because he was overwhelmed. His mind, trained to solve problems and think critically, could not immediately process the sheer scale and complexity of the vessel. Every panel, every console, every corridor seemed to pulse with purpose, yet none of it spoke a language he understood. The aliens were watching him. From his peripheral vision, Kai could see the observer stepping back behind the translucent shield of the main observation deck. There was Tyrell, the six-limbed strategist with pale green skin and multiple eyes, folding his arms with a faint shimmer of curiosity. Floating beside him was Vixel, an energy being whose form constantly shifted, revealing faint streaks of blue lightning, observing him silently. And there was Chrysel, the crystalline diplomat whose voice had a musical tone, tilting slightly as if she were analyzing every heartbeat. They had chosen him for a reason. Humans were clever. Humans were unpredictable. And they wanted him to take control of this ship, to optimize it, improve it, and perhaps even unlock secrets the previous alien engineers had failed to notice. Kai's boots clicked against the metallic floor as he walked forward, taking small, measured steps. His fingers brushed the first console. A wave of energy ran up his arm, almost like the ship was testing him. Tiny lights flickered across the panels and a soft hum reverberated in his chest. He froze again, but this time it was different. This was curiosity. "What do you see?" Tyrell asked. His voice was calm, but there was a hint of disbelief behind it. "I don't know yet," Kai admitted. His eyes scanned the holographic projections floating above the panels. They showed energy outputs, system statuses, engine cores, and star charts that extended across the entire galaxy. It's more than I imagined. The systems, the circuits, it's almost alive." Vixel's form shifted, sending streaks of light across the room. "Alive. It is a machine. It cannot be alive." "Maybe not in your way," Kai said slowly, "but it responds, it reacts, it adapts. And it's huge. I've never seen anything this big built for control by a single mind. Not a single one." Chrysel's voice chimed, soft but penetrating. "Do you believe you can operate it, human?" Kai swallowed and straightened. "I don't know yet, but I want to try." He stepped further into the main control chamber. The floor beneath him seemed almost transparent, showing multiple decks and corridors below. Lights blinked like stars inside the ship itself. Panels stretched endlessly, filled with controls that no alien could truly explain. Some of them moved on their own, adapting to his touch in ways he hadn't programmed but instinctively understood. He walked over to the main console. His fingers hovered above the controls. He felt the hum grow stronger, and then he touched a panel. The effect was immediate. The lights across the room danced in response. Systems adjusted themselves. A soft, harmonious tone filled the chamber, almost like the ship was singing a song only he could hear. The aliens gasped. Tyrell whispered to Vixel, "It's human logic. It's affecting the core differently than we expected." Kai didn't understand all of it either. But that didn't matter. His mind, trained in the art of human engineering, started seeing patterns where the aliens saw chaos. He didn't need to know what each panel was for immediately. He could intuit the relationships, the dependencies, and the flow of energy across the ship. Humans had a strange way of thinking, flexible, adaptive, and creative. That was exactly what this ship needed. He moved from one console to another, his hands flying across panels, tapping here, sliding there, nudging holographic sliders. Tiny indicators changed, some glowing brighter, some dimming. A soft vibration ran through the floor, through the walls, through his chest. The ship was responding, and Kai felt a thrill he had never felt before. "This human," Chrysel murmured. "He doesn't just understand the ship, he is speaking to it." Kai stopped suddenly. One part of the ship's system, a dormant engine node hidden behind layers of protocols, started to light up. He had not activated it intentionally, yet the node responded to his presence. It hummed, a low, steady vibration that resonated with his heartbeat. He realized something incredible. The Galactica Titan had latent potential, features, and capabilities no alien engineer had unlocked, and somehow it responded only to human-style problem-solving. Tyrell's many eyes widened. He has unlocked something we could not, even with centuries of study. Kai's fingers hovered over the controls again. He could feel the ship pulsing beneath his touch. It was alive, yes, but not in the way an alien would expect. It was alive in a way that recognized human ingenuity. He took a deep breath and allowed himself a small smile. This was what humans did best. They adapted, they explored, they improvised, and sometimes they surprised the galaxy. The aliens had given him a warship, a weapon of unimaginable power. And in that moment, Kai realized that power was not for destruction, but for understanding. He stepped further into the chamber, exploring deeper consoles and controls. Systems that had been dormant for decades suddenly began to awaken, guided by the subtle logic of human thought. Lights shimmered across walls, holographic charts expanded and recalibrated, and the hum of energy became a symphony of possibility. Kai paused at a large viewport, staring out into the galaxy. Thousands of stars stretched before him, countless worlds waiting. He could feel the pulse of the ship, the heartbeat of the engines, the rhythm of technology that had waited for someone like him. "This ship, it's not just a machine," Kai said softly, more to himself than anyone else. "It's a canvas, and I think I know how to paint on it." Tyrell stepped closer, leaning over the railing. "You truly are unlike any human we have seen." Kai chuckled. "Maybe. Or maybe humans are just different. We don't always follow rules, we don't always think the way others do, and sometimes that's enough to change everything." Vixel pulsed brightly, sending waves of light across the chamber. Change everything, with just one human. Kai turned, his eyes gleaming with quiet confidence. Why not? And as he began to explore deeper into the ship, he realized that the Galactica Titan was not merely a warship handed to him. It was an entire galaxy of possibilities waiting for a human mind to unlock them. For the first time in his life, Kai Thorne did not feel small, not in the face of the ship, not in the face of the galaxy. Humans had been underestimated for centuries, and yet here he was, standing at the center of a machine that could reach across the stars, waiting for him to show it what humanity could do. And for the first time, Kai froze, but not out of fear. He froze out of awe, the kind that only comes when a human realizes just how far they could reach. Because sometimes, the galaxy doesn't need more power. It just needs someone who knows how to think differently. And Kai Thorne, the human engineer, was ready. Kai Thorne had spent hours exploring the Galactica Titan, yet he was only scratching the surface. Every corridor led to new marvels, engines that pulsed like living hearts, halls that seemed endless, and panels that shimmered with data he could barely read. He was learning fast, but the ship was enormous, so enormous that even Kai's human brain felt stretched at its limits. He stood in front of a massive console in the engine room. The AI interface was unlike anything he had ever seen. It hummed softly, waiting, yet it didn't respond in the way the aliens expected. Systems blinked on and off, charts twisted in unfamiliar ways, and warnings appeared in rapid succession. "This AI," Kai muttered to himself. It's designed for hive minds or telepaths, not for humans. It expects everyone to think together at once. But humans don't work like that. We improvise, we adapt, we try things even if they look wrong. He reached out and touched the holographic controls. Instead of following the programmed pathways, he started experimenting, combining systems in ways that no alien engineer would dare. He rerouted energy flows, adjusted power calibrations, and made tiny, intuitive changes to engine rhythms. The ship shivered, a low hum vibrating through the walls. Then just as suddenly the entire engine room seemed to breathe. Did he just fix it? Chrysel's crystalline voice echoed in the observation chamber. Tyrell shook his multiple heads. Not fix, enhance. No one else could do this. He thinks differently. He sees patterns where we see noise. Kai stepped back, wiping sweat from his brow. The AI interface now glowed steadily, responding to his human logic in ways it had never done before. Energy output stabilized, efficiency skyrocketed, and systems that had been dormant for decades awoke. He allowed himself a small smile. Humans aren't perfect, he said, but sometimes our mistakes teach machines how to work better. Vixel pulsed, sending streaks of blue energy across the room. Mistakes? That is illogical, Kai shrugged. Maybe, but it works. For the next several hours, Kai explored deeper sections of the ship. He discovered hidden compartments, access tunnels, and engine cores that had never been touched. There were anomalies in the ship's design, oddities the aliens had never understood. Some sections glowed with energy when no one was near them. Others responded only when Kai was in the room. These systems, he muttered, scanning a control panel. They're alive in a sense, but they respond to intuition, not commands. This is why alien engineers failed. They follow protocols too strictly. He began to experiment again, connecting energy nodes, rerouting power lines, and triggering hidden subsystems. The ship reacted, almost as if it were learning from him. Holographic projections expanded to show star maps, navigational charts, and warp trajectories that had never been calculated. Tyrell leaned forward, his eyes wide. He is teaching the ship to think in a human way. Kai paused at a particular console, noticing something strange. A dormant engine node had been quietly glowing for some time. He had not activated it intentionally, yet the node now pulsed brighter, sending waves of energy through the hull. He frowned. This node it wasn't supposed to activate, but it's responding to me. How? Chrysel tilted her crystalline head. Perhaps the ship recognizes uniqueness. It senses human innovation. Kai scratched his head and smiled. Well, I can work with that. He began adjusting the node carefully, testing its limits. The ship hummed louder, corridors vibrating gently, lights flickering in a rhythm he almost understood. Tiny bursts of energy flowed into the engines, and the hum grew into a steady, deep tone, like the heartbeat of the Galactica Titan itself. This is incredible, Kai whispered. I've never operated anything like this. It's not just a machine, it's a partner. Hours turned into days as Kai continued his work. He slept only briefly, eating rations and hydrating in the ship's quiet chambers. Every time he returned to the engine room, the ship seemed to anticipate his moves, adjusting panels and displays before he even touched them. The aliens began to notice subtle changes in the ship's behavior. Systems that had been stubborn or confusing now worked smoothly under Kai's touch. The Galactica Titan, once a mysterious and intimidating warship, was becoming manageable, adaptable, and more efficient than anyone had imagined. One evening, Kai stepped onto a wide observation deck and looked out into the galaxy. Thousands of stars stretched endlessly before him, and he realized something remarkable. The ship wasn't just powerful. It had potential beyond anything designed for war. Hidden subsystems could stabilize unstable star systems, analyze unknown planets, and even explore regions previously deemed unreachable. This ship, it doesn't need to destroy, Kai said quietly. It could explore, it could understand, it could help the galaxy instead of frightening it. Vixel pulsed brighter, shifting across the chamber. You speak of non-war use. You were given a warship. And I think differently, Kai replied. Humans see more than destruction. We see possibilities, we see what could be. The aliens exchanged glances. Even Tyrell seemed unsure of what to make of it. He is changing our expectations, Chrysel admitted. Kai continued experimenting. He discovered a system of hidden energy conduits, which had been meant to power massive weapons arrays. Using human logic, he rerouted them to stabilize the ship's core, increasing efficiency and reducing energy waste. The ship responded instantly, hums aligning, lights syncing, and panels illuminating pathways that had been dormant for decades. This is amazing, Kai said. It's like the ship was waiting for someone to understand it the human way. No alien could have unlocked this, or even thought to try. Suddenly, a soft vibration ran through the floor beneath him. The dormant engine node he had activated days before began glowing brighter than ever. The Galactica Titan shivered and a series of projections appeared in the air, a star map showing regions of the galaxy that had never been charted. Kai stared in awe. The ship, it wants to explore. It wants to do more than fight, and it responds to me. Tyrell leaned closer. This human, he is not just an engineer. He is awakening the ship. Kai smiled faintly. Maybe humans are better at surprises than anyone realizes. He spent the next few hours testing the newly awakened systems. The hidden engine node, once dormant, now hummed steadily, providing power across multiple systems. Navigation became precise. Previously hidden compartments opened, and energy flows balanced themselves automatically. The Galactica Titan was no longer just a warship. It was alive in a way no alien engineer could have predicted. Vixel pulsed softly. Your methods are illogical, yet they work, Kai laughed. Sometimes the best solutions don't follow logic, they follow understanding. And humans are very good at understanding things differently. As he stepped out onto another deck, he saw alien crew members quietly observing him. They were fascinated and perhaps a little intimidated. A single human, was reshaping the galaxy's largest warship, not through brute force but through thought, ingenuity, and creativity. That night, Kai stood alone in the observation deck, gazing at the stars. The Galactica Titan pulsed beneath him like a living creature. He realized something profound. The aliens had handed him a warship expecting results. But humans, Kai thought, don't always meet expectations. We exceed them, in ways no one expects. He leaned against the railing, a small smile on his face. The ship is amazing, he whispered. And so is the galaxy, and maybe, just maybe, humans can make it even better. For the first time, Kai felt the full weight of responsibility and the full thrill of potential. The ship was enormous, the galaxy vast, and the work ahead seemed impossible. Yet, for a human engineer, impossible was just another challenge waiting to be solved. And as the Galactica Titan hummed softly around him, Kai Thorne realized that the real adventure was just beginning. Kai Thorne had learned to speak the language of the Galactica Titan. Not words or commands, but something deeper: intuition, pattern recognition, and human creativity. The ship responded to him in ways no alien had ever anticipated. Where others saw impossibilities, Kai saw opportunity. The aliens had watched silently as he transformed the massive warship into a machine that no longer just projected force. It anticipated, adapted, and explored. And now, it was time for the next step. Kai walked into the main observation deck, where the galaxy stretched endlessly in every direction. Stars shone like diamonds, planets glowed with soft blue light, and distant nebulae painted the darkness with streaks of color. The Galactica Titan thrummed beneath him, alive with energy. Today, Kai said quietly to himself, we see what we can really do. He activated a series of controls that even the aliens had never dared touch. Hidden subsystems roared to life, sensors expanded, and the dormant warp engines pulsed with immense power. The ship vibrated, not violently, but as though it were waking from a deep sleep. Tyrell leaned over the observation railing, eyes wide. "He is pushing the limits of the ship," Kai smiled faintly. "Not limits, potentials." He began by exploring uncharted star systems. The Galactica Titan sensors scanned distant planets, mapping atmospheres, gravity, and surface conditions with precision. Worlds previously thought uninhabitable now glimmered with potential. Tiny energy fluctuations in the engines allowed him to stabilize regions of space previously considered dangerous. "This ship, it can do more than fight," Kai murmured. "It can protect, explore, understand." Vixel pulsed in the observation deck, shifting colors in quiet admiration. "You have transformed a weapon into something else entirely." Kai didn't answer. He was focused on a distant star system. Sensors indicated an unstable planetary orbit, which could collapse in centuries if left unchecked. Using the ship's energy conduits, Kai rerouted power to stabilize the system's gravitational balance. Slowly, subtly, the planets shifted, settling into new orbits. The system would survive, not because of alien technology but because of human ingenuity. Chrysel's crystalline voice rang softly. "This is unprecedented. No other species could have done this without centuries of preparation." Kai chuckled. "Humans, we like to try things first, think later. Sometimes it works better that way." Hours passed as Kai continued to unlock hidden subsystems of the ship. He discovered communication nodes capable of linking distant civilizations across the galaxy. With careful calibration, he began sending signals, connecting species that had never communicated before. Slowly, a network of understanding began to form. "This is remarkable," Tyrell whispered. "He is not just commanding the ship, he is changing the galaxy." Kai smiled. "The ship isn't just a machine, it's a tool. And humans see tools differently." That afternoon, a minor crisis arose. A small rogue asteroid cluster was drifting dangerously close to a populated star system. The aliens expected panic, perhaps even a weapon to destroy it. But Kai had a different idea. Using the Galactica Titan's repurposed energy systems, he nudged the asteroid's trajectories. One by one, they moved safely away, avoiding destruction. The alien crew stared in awe. "He prevented a disaster without violence," Chrysel said. Kai shrugged. "Sometimes the best solution isn't the loudest one. Sometimes it's quiet, careful, and human." As days passed, Kai continued to reveal the ship's hidden capabilities. Energy that had once powered only weapons arrays now powered exploration modules, sensor networks, and sustainable energy systems for uninhabitable planets. The Galactica Titan became a beacon of hope rather than a symbol of fear. One evening, Kai stepped onto the observation deck, staring at a nebula that stretched across light years. He felt the hum of the ship beneath him and smiled. The Galactica Titan was no longer just a vessel handed to him by aliens. It was a living testament to what humans could achieve. He thought about the human race. Aliens often underestimated humans. They assumed humans were limited, reckless, or too small to matter. But here, in the heart of the galaxy's largest warship, Kai knew the truth. Humans adapted, humans improvised, humans solved problems that no one else could. And the ship was a reflection of that truth. The aliens gathered around him, no longer merely observers but witnesses to human ingenuity. Tyrell's many eyes shimmered. "I must admit I misjudged humans. You think differently. You solve differently. You inspire differently." Kai smiled. "That's what humans do. We're not always the strongest, but we're clever. We don't always follow rules, and sometimes that's exactly what the galaxy needs." Chrysel tilted her head. "You have transformed a weapon into a bridge, a connection, a hope." Kai's eyes lit up. "Exactly." And this is just the beginning. He spent the next few hours unlocking one of the ship's final hidden subsystems, a network of ancient star charts and maps stored deep within its core. These charts revealed routes, warp points, and regions of the galaxy unknown to any living civilization. Some of these areas contained resources, others contained fragile ecosystems, and a few held secrets long forgotten. Kai carefully integrated these charts with the ship's navigation system. The Galactica Titan hummed, glowing softly, and a new map spread across the observation deck. The galaxy as it had never been seen before, full of potential, possibility, and wonder. Vixel floated silently beside him. You have expanded the universe, Kai laughed quietly. I didn't expand it. Humans just see it differently. We see opportunity where others see risk. We see paths where others see walls. The aliens exchanged glances. Tyrell spoke slowly. Perhaps humans are not just a species. Perhaps they are catalysts, creators, innovators, Kai nodded. Maybe we are, and maybe the galaxy is ready to see that for itself. The final test came unexpectedly. A distant star system was on the verge of collapse. Gravity waves were destabilizing the planets, threatening to destroy life before it could develop. The aliens expected hesitation. They expected calculations and fear. But Kai stepped forward, confidence in his voice and heart. We can save them, he said simply. Using the ship's hidden energy conduits, Kai carefully redirected power, synchronized engines with gravitational shifts, and recalibrated stabilizers across the system. The planets, once teetering on the edge, slowly aligned into safe orbits. Life would continue, civilizations would flourish, and the system would survive, not by force but by human ingenuity and careful reasoning. The alien crew was silent. Then Tyrell's many eyes shimmered. Incredible. One human saved an entire star system. Kai leaned back, watching the stars. He felt the hum of the Galactica Titan beneath him, alive, patient, and ready. This ship, he whispered, was never just a weapon, it was a test. And humans we passed by being ourselves. Chrysel's voice was soft, musical. Perhaps the galaxy has underestimated humans for too long. Kai smiled. They have, but now they'll know. Humans are not just survivors. We're creators, problem solvers, explorers, and sometimes the galaxy's greatest tool. As he stood there looking at the galaxy stretching endlessly before him, Kai realized that the Galactica Titan had become more than a ship. It was a symbol of human potential, ingenuity, and the power of a single mind to change the course of the stars. And for the first time, Kai Thorne felt a quiet pride, not in himself alone, but in humanity. The humans had been underestimated for centuries. Now, thanks to a single engineer and the largest warship in the galaxy, the universe would finally see what humans could truly accomplish. The Galactica Titan hummed softly beneath his feet. The stars outside seemed to shine brighter. And Kai knew with certainty that this was just the beginning. Humans had entered the galaxy, humans had adapted, and humans had begun to reshape the stars themselves.